Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Joseph Ryder Anderson podcast. Today, I have a really fun one for you. We're going to be doing a couple of things today. We're going to be talking about, first and foremost, the Inuyasha Union Arena set that came out, and that's a really cool one. There's some very strong decks in that set, one in particular, and another one that's pretty strong too. So we're going to be talking about those decks. We're going to be looking at some of the newest features in the JWA deck builder. If you haven't seen them yet, we're also going to be talking about a deck that I took to a case tournament recently. I think that case tournament gives us some solid insights into the Union Arena meta post Chainsaw Man. And of course, that's going to change a little bit with Inuyasha, but I think not too much. And then we're going to do something also really, really fun, which is we are going to actually play some Union Arena. Now that there's this fantastic new sim called Anime TCG, so it's play.animetcg.com. And part of me almost wishes this sim hadn't come out, because had this sim not come out, I would probably have a lot more time in my life, because now what little time in my life was not devoted to Union Arena is now spent playing on this sim. So let me go ahead and find the deck that I took, if it's in here. Let's find the deck. I think I named it Case Tournament. So let's go ahead and find the deck that I took to the Case Tournament. So a couple of fun new things that I did add to the builder. I really was not a big fan of the way on the desktop, the way the light box worked. It looked great on mobile. So I did update the light box. That's just what I call this display that pops up, so you get a lot more information on the cards. I don't have to be zooming in awkwardly on cards while I'm recording these videos anymore. So this is the deck that I took to the Chainsaw Man case tournament at Constellation Collective. I think it was 30 players or so at the tournament. It was around 30 players, and I got 5th out of 30. I went X1 after 5 rounds. And played really, really well. Actually, the only deck that I lost to was the guy who won, who was also playing Green BLEACH. And I think into that particular meta where Red Chainsaw Man was the big heavyweight, that seems to be what's been happening. Is Red Chainsaw Man has been picking up a lot of steam. We see this from a play share standpoint, but we also see this from a market standpoint, where the Chainsaw Man cards have been trending quite high in comparison to the Red Chainsaw Man cards, I should say, have been trending quite high in comparison to the purple Rize decks. I don't know if you've used the collection tracker, but we can probably pop in there real quick. I should have probably opened this in a different tab, because I got to go back and find that deck. But we can go and take a look at these prices in the collection tracker. So if you haven't used the collection tracker yet, it's a pretty handy tool. It gives you a lot of really good insights and such into cards. So let's go over to Chainsaw Man, and we can actually take a look at how valuable some of these cards are. And this, of course, will work best for cards that actually have reliable sales data. But for this, we want to be looking at these meta-relevant cards. You can see Bomb Devil is worth about $10. I should probably add some of these, actually, to my collection, because I do have, like, a play set. Oh, wait, no. One less. So you can see that, this one's come down. This one used to be double this. This one's now 49. So this is the JWA collection tracker for Union Arena. I'm in the premium version. So premium version gives you access to a ton of really cool insights. You can see my portfolio has been growing like crazy. This is nice. Nice $8,000 portfolio. You can see where it's split up between. It gives you actionable insights too, like value gained over a certain period of time, where your value is coming from, and there's actually even more data that we're going to add soon. But yeah, so we can see that the Bomb Devil is relatively cheap at $10, and the Chainsaw Man, if I can find him, he's actually at $20. So he's like twice as much, right, as the Rize. Now that's not obviously, I'm not trying to say that alone is evidence that this is a meta deck, right? $16. I think the Rize is around that. Oh, she's dropped. So now this obviously this alone is not enough to say, oh yeah, the Red Chainsaw Man, but I've just been seeing Red Chainsaw Man at the case tournament, at other local play. Red Chainsaw Man just seems to be the preferred deck. And honestly, after playing Bomb Devil a bit, obviously I'd already tested Bomb Devil, at taking it to competitive tournament. I can see why. The purple Rize deck is significantly harder to play. It's harder to see the lines you need to see. You can pull off these insane turns. Like I was playing against Red Evangelion at a recent tournament, and I was able to field two. It's gonna sound crazy, but I was able to field two of these 4-cost Rizes, I think on the second turn. I just tapped a Denji, played a character, and because of how many AP restands I got via the Rize and via drawing into finals, I was able to get 2 4-cost characters out in turn 2. So there are some crazy things. That's just one example. You can do even crazier things later on. But the thing is if you don't get those lines, then you're kind of dead in the water. Then you're just sort of hitting something. You're removing your own characters, removing your opponent's characters, and not really doing a whole lot. Whereas Red Chainsaw Man, people really like it for its ability to do a lot of damage. People like the power of the Red Chainsaw Man. People like the power of the Red Chainsaw Man. People like that it can free play the Pochita, I think is how you pronounce that, to the back line. I have seen Chainsaw Man, by the way. I just forget how you pronounce this little guy's name, this cute little chainsaw guy. So pretty cool stuff. I think Red Chainsaw Man's really the one to watch from this, but I think Red Inuyasha has something to say for itself. I think you could end up seeing Red Inuyasha being just as popular, or maybe even more popular than Red Chainsaw Man. It's got a little bit more trickery to it. It's a little bit harder to pull off some of its stuff, but from what I've seen, it is a very, very powerful deck. And that is the number one deck from the set, in my books, is the Red Inuyasha deck. Red Inuyasha is a heavily aggressive deck. The deck that reminds me the most of is Kenshin. The reason why it reminds me of Red Kenshin, it is a similar style deck. It's heavily aggressive. It's a 4-cost deck, so that means you're not building up to a ton of energy on your energy line. Gives you more flexibility to do more things. And one thing that's very similar to Kenshin is it has this funny little thing built into it, this activate main built into it that is sort of on face value. It looks like a drawback. So it almost looks like how Kenshin has the pushing back effect where it doesn't actually sideline characters. Inuyasha has something similar where its abilities only activate if this character has been switched to resting. So it is a little bit, but the funny thing is you get so many benefits when you interact the different cards that do this. So for example, this Kagome, when you switch to resting, she gains a powerful effect and she can boost BP. She can't be blocked by 4,000 BP characters or more. This Kikyo, I think, is actually even stronger than the Kagome, where she has the option to switch herself to active and gain 1,000. Or you can choose one character on your opponent's front line and switch it to resting. And then you're using this. All your different Inuyashas have abilities that switch them to active, but you're primarily using this on the 4-cost Inuyasha, where you have some optionality built in here. Depending on what you need, you can get an impact attacker with 1,000, so 5,000k impact attacker to close out games. Or if you've played him this turn, you gain a double attacker. So again, similar to how the Red Kenshin has the double attack built in, the Inuyasha has the double attack or the impact you can switch between depending on what you need. Now, there's a couple of things that are a little interesting. So on the one hand, this deck has some stuff that Red Kenshin doesn't have that makes it more modern even than Red Kenshin. As we've seen, Red Kenshin's been doing plenty well in the meta. But Kagome has a very powerful free play built in. So when she's played, you can play up to one Red Inuyasha or Kagome character with 3 or less required energy set to resting to your field. That's really, really strong. That gives you the modern free play you're looking for, packaged into one of your primary raid targets that you're going to be running anyways. It's a very strong effect. And that's something that Red Kenshin doesn't have. And that's Red Kenshin could potentially start falling off by not having that, right? It's been such a strong and aggressive deck. It's been able to get by without having the free play. But now all of a sudden you have this just as aggressive deck with the free play built in, can help it build up its board a little faster. It also has a 2 AP cost character that is potentially even stronger. Of course, the 2 AP character in Kenshin does fulfill a very vital role where you can use it to draw and you can use it to switch off that pushing back ability. But this Inuyasha is kind of crazy, coming in with damage 2 active, right? Like I think a card that has damage 2 natively that I use a lot is a 2 AP Kirito and progressive, but he comes in resting. You have to chain him with Asuna to get him to active, and you don't always have that combo, whereas this Inuyasha is just coming in active. The only problem is he can't block if he doesn't have any face down cards under him. but that's not always a big issue. You're not always going to want to block with him anyways, right? You can just take a hit or block with a chump blocker, but you can also fairly easily get a card under him by just adding your special. Anytime you want, just put the special under this Inuyasha, and then all of a sudden you can block. So that removes that drawback. This is really insane. This Inuyasha, damage 2 coming in active. Tell me if we've had that before at just 4 energy. I don't think we've had that before. So whereas I think the thing that this deck doesn't have that Kenshin does have is Kenshin has the pseudo removal via the pushback. So you can clear the board for a turn if you need to, but you can also actually remove characters if your opponent's energy line is full. You can push things back and remove characters that way. This deck doesn't have that, but with the damage 2 characters that come in active like this sort of act as a pseudo removal character, because they're just not going to want to take that damage 2, and with no impact they kind of have to block it. Like, it doesn't really make sense to let in a damage 2 attacker. So that is this deck in a nutshell. It's all about switching your Inuyasha characters to resting so that you can use their native switching back to active effects. And this deck is really, really strong. This is going to be the deck that we're going to play on the sim in just a moment, so we'll get back to that soon. But let's go ahead and talk about some of the other decks. I think as I've been playing these decks, I really prefer the red deck the most. But when I first was working on this set, I was really drawn to the... I'm going to say this guy's name wrong, but it's the purple. Let's just call it the purple Inuyasha deck with the Sesahomaru, which is a really hard name to say, but this guy's really strong. I think the main problem with this deck, I'll just say it up front, is I think that this guy being a 6 cost is what makes this deck less strong. I think at 6 cost, you're all of a sudden competing with characters like Saito. Saito's a really good foil for this, where Saito has such deadly power, right? It can attack from the energy line with impact and snipe, whereas this guy has impact at 5,000 BP, which is really nice, and he's got the 4,500 BP base, which makes him a solid blocker, and that is a big difference. But he does not have anything else, really. He's just a big guy with impact, except for he does have a free play. So this deck is all about free plays. It's a huge, huge free play deck. This guy has a free play effect. Your damage 2 has a free play. Your 2 AP cost character has a free play effect. This is kind of more similar to the Kirito, where you can chain this 2 AP Sesomaru with the Rin to restand him the turn he's played, and attack with a damage 2 the turn he's played with the free play built in. That's really strong. And you have this Kagura tech that lets you free play a character so you can fulfill some of your other requirements. A really strong Aun, which is a card that is very similar to there's a lot of cards like this that are 3 energy cost, double energy gen, and they can push characters around through the board to open up strategic avenues. One of the best ways to use this is early on, because you're building up to 6 energy cost. You can use this to trade up a character to the front line and attack so you basically gain frontline presence without typically you have to sacrifice frontline presence to build up the energy line, but with this any character like this, like the Bako or the Saito from Purple Saito, cards like this make it so you can not fall behind in life too quickly before you build up to your stronger character. So this deck is really cool. I've been seeing this a lot on the sim, and it's really relatively an easy deck to work around, though, just because of how much you have to build up to the 6 cost. It's not a very hard deck to work around, but it is definitely an upper tier deck from all the free play it has. Free play is one of the strongest mechanics in the game. So you have a deck like this that can free play off of so many characters. That's going to be pretty strong. Moving down the ranks to another deck that for some people might actually work out a little more, and that's the red Sango Miroku deck. Now, the thing about this deck that's kind of funny is this deck it's kind of your standard event-based removal deck. So the Miroku works a lot like what was that guy's name again? The Shen, I think is his name, from Purple not Code Geass, but Purple Tokyo Ghoul. This works very, very similarly, where you are removing events from your sideline and basically boosting your removal range for each event card you remove. You start with a pretty high base, though, so you're starting at 2,500, And then as long as you have Sango on your field, you can add 500 to the rangeless ability for every event removed from your sideline. So it's actually a little easier to scale in a way, making this one of the strongest event-based removal decks we've had. And then other than that, you just have a really strong impact character with draw and just a ton of draw and filter effects and search effects in this deck that make it really strong. So as far as event-based removal decks go, this is one of the stronger ones we've had. It's just not super exciting because we've had this deck basically many times before in different packaging, although arguably not as strong as this to date. So that's the red event deck. Now let's look at the other deck, the really weird deck. And I feel like in Union Arena, without fail, when there's a weird deck, a lot of times they're purple. And when there's a weird deck that doesn't really make a lot of sense, it immediately gets a very strong following that will like defend the deck to the death. And so I think there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be like, no, Naraku faction is the strongest deck in this set. It's got so much recursion and it can do all these things. And I'm not saying that it can't do all those things. It does have a lot of cool stuff. It just needs a little more. I think if there was a volume 2, this deck could get really scary. For example, this raidless Naraku that can come in with impact at 4 energy cost and 4,000 BP, and you just side one of your characters, and you can reduce the BP of an opposing character to make it easy to swing through. That's a lot built into a raidless character. So that's definitely strong. I'm not arguing it's not. I think the only problem I have with this deck is this 4-cost Naraku. For what everything that goes on here, this is a lot of text you can just see from looking at it, and it really isn't doing a whole lot. It's just giving Naraku recursion. He can come back, you can raid him again, you just basically can use him over. If there was something else like more powerful going on here, some kind of removal, some kind of resting, some kind of something, I would like this card a lot more. But as it is, it's just a guy who just kind of sticks around. So that's kind of cool. I think a lot of people are probably going to like this deck because people just tend to like weird decks like this. So if you like this deck, that's awesome. Go and play it and win a regional, and everyone will think you're super cool. So I think I'm all for that. It's just not really a deck that I would play. It's not got a lot of the power. It does have some interesting free plays with this Kagura, but this Kagura is actually kind of better suited to the other purple deck anyways. So yeah, that's my feelings about Naraku. Not my favorite deck in the world, but if you like it, go and play it, and it does not matter. It's all about having fun and enjoying yourself. So go out there and knock yourself out with this Naraku purple Inuyasha deck. So now, where does that leave us in the meta? We've not taken a look at the meta in just a little bit here. So let's go and take a look at the NA tier list, North America tier list, English version, where we're at now. I did make some changes to this to just help people out a little bit. Now, this S tier decks, this is where I think we're at right now, just based on what I've seen. We have had a huge prevalence of Shadow Army and Yellow Sakamoto. These decks are really kind of, they almost could be the top 2 decks if we were going to separate them out. But I think having an S tier where we have the top 4 or 5 makes sense. So the Yellow Sakamoto and Shadow Army are just very well proven decks. They have a huge play share. These are the ones, if you're going to a big event, you really want to keep in mind how your matchups are into these 2 guys. Now we move over to here, the red decks. Shinji Rei is a deck that I don't see personally a lot. I don't see this deck being played a ton at the local level. I play a lot of local tournaments, obviously, and case tournaments, things like that. I don't see Shinji Rei being played a lot at that level, but it's being played consistently at the top tables at bigger events and regionals. And I can see why. This deck has removal and has a really powerful heavy hitter with that Evangelion, really powerful closing, and it really just only suffers to more of the aggro style play. Otherwise, it's a really powerful deck. Chainsaw Man, sort of like Red Shinji Rei, really. It's just more of like a lower energy curve version of Shinji Rei with a little more like has that power play, which is pretty cool. Has some recursion, has a lot of the stuff. Like Shinji Rei doesn't have the recursion. Well, it does have the recursion actually, because you get rid of a Rei and the Reis come back. So Chainsaw Man and Shinji Rei are a lot alike. I think that we could even end up seeing Shinji Rei drop off, and Chainsaw Man ends up being hyper popular, which it seems to be. People just really like this red Chainsaw Man deck, so maybe that will take the Shinji Rei's place. A lot of times in the meta, when you have decks that are similar, ends up being, even if they're similar kind of archetype, I would say that deck will end up being the preferred deck, and the other one will drop off just because you don't always need multiple decks of doing the same kind of thing in a meta. And then Red Kenshin, and again, Red Kenshin, right now, I'm kind of conservatively, because we don't have a lot of data, I'm conservatively putting Red Inuyasha on the A+ tier deck list, but we could end up seeing Inuyasha overtake Red Kenshin. because Red Inuyasha is doing some stuff with that free play, especially. It's doing some stuff that Red Kenshin can't do. So if that free play and some of the more modern mechanics in the Red Inuyasha deck end up being popular enough, you could see the Red Kenshin deck, maybe these two swapping. Right now I'm being conservative because Red Kenshin has just been such a powerhouse for so long. I don't want to steer people the wrong way, but you could definitely, after some regionals and events happen, you could definitely see those two switching place. Now, in the A+ tier decks, these are all really, really strong, and you could see these winning a regional, topping a regional easily. Rize would have been my top pick before. Me personally, I think Rize is actually kind of a stronger deck than Red Chainsaw Man, but it's also a much harder deck to play. So I think decks, when they're harder, like we've seen with Purple Song can definitely do well in the right scenarios, but I think that these harder decks to play tend to just not get picked up as much. Rize is really tough. I played Rize at a local and did horribly, just because it's just, if you're not careful, and you can really mess yourself up. So I think it takes someone who's really committed. I was like that with Song. No, it took me a long time to figure out how to play Song, and now I'm pretty solid with Song. So I'm sure I'll get there with Purple Rize too. That's the one I'm playing from Chainsaw Man, but it's definitely a tough deck to play. It's not one that you can just take out of the box and spin up and win a tournament with too easily. And then we have these other decks in here. Red Kagurabachi has been pretty much a staple, a sort of a step down staple from the S tier since it came out, at least. Purple Gaius is still doing well with the Mari. I probably should change this because it's Gaius Mari now. But Yellow Evangelion, arguably you could say that's the S tier. It does really, really well still too. We have Sakamoto Store, can still hang in there. Green Bleach, as you saw. Actually, did we skip talking about Green Bleach? I think I got sidetracked there and actually didn't even end up talking about Green Bleach in the tournament. So let's go talk about my Green Bleach deck real quick before we get into the gameplay. But Red Inuyasha, it depends on how it gets picked up, but I think I may even update this after playing it more myself, just to the S tier. Let's go ahead and get back into the deck builder, because I don't think I even talked about my Green Bleach deck that I took to the case tournament. So let's go ahead and look at that real quick. After we look at that, we're going to go to play a couple rounds with some different decks, just mess around a little bit. So this is the case tournament deck. I got a little bit fancy with this. This was not actually what I ended up doing. I don't think I did 2 of these. I just kept it. I think that probably would have been better. I was lazy and I just went with 4 of the Toshiro specials. But I got a little bit fancy with this deck in terms of I went with 4 of the Rangikus. I just really like free play as a mechanic, and I love that Green Bleach has such a solid free play character built in. And this deck, this does really help with some plays. I think that it was funny because the only matchup, the only battle I lost in the case tournament was into another Green Bleach, which obviously I was not building this deck to counter Green Bleach. I was building this deck to counter the meta, and I was thinking Rangiku would help me stay ahead of some of the decks that are really free play heavy, like the Purple Rize is the deck I was assuming would be there the most. And this did, for the most part, really help me throughout the tournament, having 4 of these. But into the matchup I did into the Green Bleach, actually my opponent had more of a heavy damage 2 focus, and he really rolled well into the playing basically a damage 2 impact 1 Kenpachi every turn. So his build in that specific matchup was the stronger build because I don't have a nullify impact. So that worked really, really well in his favor. But overall, this deck, largely why I was playing this is just partly why, actually, I think the main reason I was playing this is I assumed Purple Rize was going to be the biggest deck at the tournament, and it ended up being Red Chainsaw Man. But this deck also does really, really well into Red Chainsaw Man. Into the Purple Rize, you have the can't be affected by BP reducing effects, which just stays relevant forever. It's just a very relevant effect. And then you have this freezing effect that you can freeze down. You can freeze down an opponent's character. You can do that. This works really, really well into Yellow Sakamoto, into the Pleasantly Plump Sakamoto, sorry. And you can freeze him down when it's not really optimal to remove him. You can stop the free block that way. This works really well into Shadow Army, where you can freeze their back line, make it less easy for them to just replenish their front line with all their little monsters. And this also works really well into Red Chainsaw Man, where you can shut off some of their plays that the power works really well into the Chainsaw Man in that deck, where the power can basically push off her sideline to the Chainsaw Man, who then comes back if you set him up right, so you basically lose a removal If in this space, this shuts that down. You can just freeze them instead. This deck is just a deck that refuses to die in the Union Arena meta. It's been around pretty much since the start, and it just doesn't, it kind of refuses to go anywhere. It stays meta relevant no matter what. So that's that. Now, let's go ahead and actually play some matches. Let's go ahead and get into the play.anime.tcg. I just made this new account for the sake of making this video. So I don't have any decks added, but that works great because I'm going to show you how you can add your decks from the JWA deck builder easily into the simulator. I just added this feature recently. Another thing I added too, I hadn't talked about this, is that the way I had this set up before was very literally tied to sets. So you couldn't deck build across sets. Now if you want to, you can switch around to different sets and it doesn't affect your deck building space. And what this does, this lets you build for the open IP. So some people are asking for the open IP deck builder, which I wanted to enable for them. Was a feature request from a premium member. So if you are a premium member, jump onto the Discord. You can find it over via the website. But you can, if there's something that you want to see in the builder, go ahead and drop it in the JWA Deck Builder channel. I can take a look at it. Someone just shared how much the Deck Sensei has helped them. So Deck Sensei analyzes your deck and gives you recommendations. I've already obviously used this on my deck, so it's already optimized. But this gives you, this helps you build better decks. And the idea here is not to just build meta decks, but what if you have a deck idea that's not meta, but you want to optimize it? That's how Deck Sensei helps. So one of my premium members was just sharing in the Discord how this is just such a fantastic use of $5. It's just $5 a month to have access to the premium. You get all kinds of things like cloud sync wherever you go. And of course, now it's very, very easy to export this to the Union Arena simulator. All you do is do the sim export, you copy. Now let's go over to the pasted deck. Just copy and paste. Let's name this Red Inuyasha. You can see right here. Import. Fantastic. It's legal, ready to use. Now let's go and play. Let's go play a couple rounds with Red Inuyasha. Now I don't know why it says this because I had done that before and it then was fine. So let's go back. I think what you might have to do is you might have to go into the deck builder and just make sure that you have your AP set up. So you can kind of just choose any APs you want. And then that's a little bit weird, but now you can just go and play online. It should be ready to go. Yeah. I don't know why it does that, but there might be a way to fix that. Who knows? But let's go ahead and just do a quick match. See who is playing. All right, so opening hand here. This looks fabulous. This is exactly the kind of hand I like. I don't like this sit, having two sits. This kind of sucks, especially without any relevant Inuyashas in your hand. But let's go ahead and keep this just because we have plenty of zeros. Looks like our opponent is starting. Now, this is gonna sound funny, but I've never actually played against CCG before. I've played CCG, but I've never played against it. So this could be interesting. So let's go ahead and skip the draw. Juzo's at 2,000. No point in trying to block Juzo. So let's just go ahead and get our bench set up or our energy line set up. Let's definitely get rid of one of these sits because there's no way we need this many sits in around. And then let's go ahead and put both of our primary raid targets to the energy line. Now we're going to go ahead and pass over. By the way, if you're ever playing against me and I'm using this JWA account, that means that I am recording it. So if you ever are online, I won't be playing under JWA. I'll be playing under some other Smurf accounts. So people don't make fun of me for my really crazy decks I'd like to try out. But if you're playing against JWA, it's because you're probably going to get featured on one of these videos. All right, definitely take that life. No option there. Oh, and what a fantastic raid trigger to get. Let's go ahead and skip. Now let's see what we get here. So what are we looking for here? What are we hoping to get? I mean, we're kind of not, I'm going to be honest, we're not in a great spot right now. I think what we really want is we want to play, I guess we could push up. Oh no, we can't because it's a 2000. So yeah, we're not in a great spot. We really want to do here is we want to try to find something that we can block with. Let's look at the energy line. Just 1500 characters. Okay, so what we're gonna do here, thinking ahead, we really don't want to take a million hits next turn. We're gonna take something. We don't want to open up space for our opponent to basically come back at us with a bunch of chump attackers, right? So I basically wanted to search this out so I have something I can put onto the front line and block some chumpy attackers. So that's all I'm really doing here. That's not a great start, right? My opponent definitely had a stronger start than me. I like to be the aggressor, but with these small BP bodies, that just didn't happen this time. So now let's go ahead and pass and see what happens. So now at least they're forced to do something else other than just move up their little people. If they do move up little people, it's probably because they're gonna remove or sideline somebody. Nope. So they're gonna build up to a stronger play. Let's see who it is. Oh, okay, perfect. So our little strategy worked. Now we didn't get a bunch of chump attacks for no reason. We just took the hit we had to take. And Kagome, let's make sure we activate that, add it to hand. Now all of a sudden, okay, so we had to take a couple hits and we got the final. This is not looking too bad. Now all of a sudden it's looking kind of good. It went from a positive to a negative pretty darn quickly there. So let's see, how do we want to sequence this? Let's go ahead and put the, let's think about this for a second because we actually have a lot of options here. 15 and a 2000. We have a lot of options here. We're gonna play one to here and we're gonna rate up 2 and we still have one left. So let's go ahead and move up. Let's go ahead and move one up just for the sake of it, right? Let's go to main. And then we can go ahead and play this. Now we gotta discard something. Oh, and we got the Kyo. That changes things a little bit. The Kyo is really strong. What do we not need? I'm still kind of feeling like we may not need this sit. Given how things are going, I kind of feel like we don't need a lot of sits around right now. Let's go ahead and AP restand just so we don't forget later. Now, what are we gonna do? Let's go ahead and strengthen our energy line with Kikyo. Now we have 2 APs left, so what we're gonna want to do is we're gonna want to raid the red Inuyasha first. We have a bunch of stuff on the energy line too, so we can even get more attackers out. This is crazy. It's a pretty strong turn. Let's go ahead and perform the raid, move to the front line. Now we can raid over our backline Kagome. What's her name again? And then we can free play too to the backline, so we're strengthening our backline too. It's a really strong turn. I think you can kind of see why this deck is so strong, right? There's just so much going on. What do we want here? So we have a really strong energy line. We're gonna raid up another Kagome. We're gonna raid up that guy next turn. I think that what we really don't need. I feel like we don't necessarily need. Again, I don't think we need the sit. Let's just get rid of the sit. I don't think we need it. Okay, now this is where the magic happens right here. Let's go ahead and activate some of these effects. We're gonna go ahead and activate this onto our big Inuyasha. He's the priority. And then we can boost somebody by 1,000. This is so good. Let's boost this by 1,000. We're making all of our people able to attack through here. Now this guy is gonna restand. We're gonna be able to choose what we want, and I want double attack, of course. Double attack is almost always a stronger option, unless if you need to close out the game. Now, what we can do is switch this to active, switch this Inuyasha to resting, and we can choose up to one character in opponent's front line and switch it to resting. We're just gonna, let's see, what do they have on the energy line? They have a bunch of Amons. Let's go ahead and switch the Amon to resting. Just get rid of a chump blocker. And then we can now switch this guy to active. He's gonna be stronger. Look at that insane turn. Just think to yourself, can Red Kenshin do something like that? Can Red Kenshin have a turn like that? Maybe, but I don't know. This is insane. Yeah, let's just be honest. Red Kenshin can kind of do something like that. Not the resting though. Not all the optionality you have. That's just crazy. Now let's go ahead and get some of these swings out of the way. It's gonna hurt a lot for our opponent. Let's see what happens. all it takes is a special. That's actually really helpful for them right now. Now they don't have to take as many hits. And our resting didn't do a whole lot. But whatever. Still cool. Kagume. Probably gonna take this, I would guess. Or they're gonna block it. They should block it. I don't know why they're not blocking. So in this scenario, this guy should be blocking with his Amon. Just so you know. You want to block so that way if you hit another active, you can restand and get multiple blocks off. But he did hit a raid, which is pretty cool. And just keep swinging through. I think they're gonna block the rest of this, but maybe they'll forget something. Okay, now it's their turn. That was a strong turn, but they did get some excellent triggers. So, what does this guy do? I forget. That did not work. Oh, that's right. He's kind of like a built-in final. That's right. I remember this guy. Yeah, this deck's actually really strong. I'm surprised this deck didn't get more play share. This deck's really strong. It's kind of like a little more of an aggressive Toshiro in some ways, but it's not seen a lot of play share for whatever reason. This is not a bad turn this guy's having. Ooh, interesting. All right, not a bad turn, but I think we're good. Oh, he's getting the AP restands. Oh no. Oh no. He's gonna have a crazy turn too. So I think next turn what we want to do is we want to go for the damage to Inuyasha. And the... Oh, and he got the removal with the Juzo. Oh my gosh. Got the removal. That sucks. Well, let's see what we get in our life. Oh, nice. And we can perform raid. Do we have... Oh, and we have the raid target too. Wow. That is not bad at all. So yeah, let's definitely do that. Let's definitely perform raid. And let's go to... who do we want to hit with this? Frontline, we might want to use that as a blocker. We're getting one more. Oh, we're gonna block that though. One more swing and a block. Let's go with the front line, and then we can free play this to the back line. Oh, and we hit exactly what we needed. We needed an Inuyasha raid target. It's exactly what we need. This is really working out good. Who do we want though? Which one? I think we probably want this one. I don't think this matters. And then we got to discard something, and this is the hard one. Who to discard? I think we're gonna have to discard an Inuyasha raid here and go with the damage. Oh, but we can't go with the damage 2 and the raid though. So we're kind of either going to go with an Inuyasha next turn, or we're going to go with the damage 2. I think the Inuyasha is probably the stronger play. So let's go ahead and just dump our Inuyasha. And another Kagome. Are you serious? Oh no, he's looking at it. Sorry, that was the same one. Okay. Alright, let's go ahead and take that. Our final, nothing. Okay. Oh, nice. This is perfect. We got the special. This is just really going our way. I really need the special really helps a lot actually in this scenario. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna use this. This can only be used the turn it's played, right? I'm trying to remember. Okay, so we're not gonna have this switch, but this one can be used whenever. Yeah, so we have plenty of switching built in. So that's the only problem here is we are going to have one weakling. But actually, if we just use this Inuyasha, we can bump this up to a 2500 at least, which is not too bad. So we'll just move one of the weaklings up. And now we're going to go into main. going to go with the Inuyasha here. And then we are going to play the special, get rid of the Amon, and then we're going to raid up the Inuyasha. Move to front line. Nice. And now we're going to activate into the Inuyasha, confirm. We're going to boost this so that it can't be blocked by the chump. And then we're going to activate, and we're going to probably pick, how much life do they have? They have 4 life. Okay, wow, they're ahead of us. Oh, that was a strong turn. So let's go ahead and give it double attack. It's going to be stronger. We don't want to activate it again because it's just once per turn you can switch them. So if we were to activate this again, it would not be good. So let's not do that. All right, let's see what we get. Take a life. Perfect. Some push-ups. Attack again. Ooh, that's right in range. So they're gonna take a free sideline there. Get rid of one of our chump blockers for the following turn. That's right in range. You know what? Let's do a little psychology. Let's use this one. This one. Okay. I guess they're just gonna chump block though, so it doesn't really matter. Oh, they just lost the game. Look what they just did. This one can't be blocked by 4Ks. That was so silly of them. GG. Yeah, they've completely forgot about the 4K. So that's why I did that. I attacked with the one that didn't have the 4K, can't be blocked by 4Ks or more. I attacked with the one that didn't have that first, just to see. I wouldn't forget that, but they did. So I just was like, well, maybe they'll forget. So I attacked with the one that didn't have the 4,000 BP. Sorry, the one that didn't have the can't be blocked by 4,000 BP. They took that hit, and then they on top of that raided the Jugo. I think they got rid of my Inuyasha, right? I'll probably go back and look at that. And then I was able to swing through. They couldn't block it, so they just kind of lost that right there for themselves. But that's okay. That happens. I have done that myself. I have made sillier mistakes under worse circumstances. This is an online game, right? I've made those kinds of mistakes at Nationals where, like, I forgot certain characters couldn't be blocked. So it's much better to make those mistakes online. That's why you do that, right? So that's how you play Red Inuyasha. I think that I was gonna play more with Red Inuyasha, but honestly, that was kind of perfectly exemplified how strong that deck is. It really is strong. I'm gonna probably after this recording this, I'm gonna go probably and punch that up to the S tier on my tier list because it's just such a strong deck. Let's go back. I think that was fun. I want to go and play something else now, something not meta. I'm gonna go and do one match. You guys can watch. I'm gonna do one match with the deck that I've been playing a lot, my favorite right now, which is Mother's Rosario. Let's make sure this is the right build. I think I'm running 2 of these. Let's take a look. This deck has been killing it online. This is such a strong deck. Ooh, this is a crazy build. This is another red build. You know what? Let me just go find the actual red build. This is one I was messing around with, but I should just stick with what works. It's Rosario complete. This is my favorite deck right now. This deck is so much better than I thought it was. This was deck I always kind of wrote this off as like, oh, it doesn't have enough. And as I've been playing, I'm like, this deck has insane lines. It's just really hard to play. This deck is really hard to play. Mother's Rosario from Sword Art Online. If you don't know, you should know that Sword Art Online is not only my favorite anime, but is my favorite Union Arena set. So this is just such a fun deck. Let's go over and do that premium export or the sim export. Copy it. Go back over to the sim. Let's go ahead and deck build. Start a new deck. Let's paste a deck. Ooh, you know what? This time, let's go over. Let's add. Let's go ahead into the deck builder. Well, it might not let. Let's not worry about it. Let's go ahead and just do it. Paste deck. There's Rosario. Import. It's probably going to have the same problem. I think all you do is just click in and then it'll say it's ready to play and you can just go and play with it. Now let's go back to play. Oh, wrong button. So play online. Let's change out to Mother's Rosario. And let's battle it out. I love this deck. Let's see. Hopefully I don't get a bad matchup. Ooh, interesting. This looks like the aggro Attack on Titan deck. This is horrible. Yeah, it's great. Perfect. Only thing not great is we don't have a Yuki raid target with the Yuki raid, but it's pretty solid. Alright, let's go ahead. Who do we want to play first? We definitely want to play the Asuna. So So we can boost her if we need to attack through. So let's play the Asuna. There's nothing else I can do, so let's just pass. Let's see what happens. It's gonna be fun. I've played against Red Attack Titan a million times. I just kind of forget what it does. But maybe it's the Red Attack Titan deck. Maybe it's not even aggro. Oh, and they only play one card. Making this too easy for us. Ooh, now here's the conundrum. I think, you know what? Normally, I'm usually such an aggressive player. Normally, I push up like crazy. I'm not going to because they only played one character. So I'm just going to be conservative and I'm just going to set up my back line. So I don't do anything unnecessary. I don't want to brick since they're already bricking. It looks like I don't want to brick too. So it'll be interesting to see what we get next turn. I'm probably going to go for, if we hit a 2 cost or lower, this Sleeping Knights is going to be great next turn. I think optimally we're looking for a Yuki, like a 0 cost or 2 cost Yuki. That would be awesome if they don't have anything pushing forward though. I guess it doesn't really matter. So maybe a Yuki doesn't really matter that much right now. But I guess a Yuki would help us set up for the following turn. So that'd be kind of cool. And there's the 2 cost Yuki that I was hoping for. Actually, we have a really cool line. This is what I mean. Like, it's all about the lines you get. We have a really cool line we can play. It's perfect for right now. Okay, I gotta move to the main phase. Watch this. This is why the Sleeping Knight's here. You can play this to the front line. Free play the Yuki back here. And now we can just go ahead and drop. We don't want to raid, right? We don't want to raid when there's nothing to kill. So we're just going to raid up that. I don't think we need... Ooh, actually... We might want to get rid of one of these Mother Rosarios. That's probably what we want. As hard as that is to do, Mother Rosario is useless until you get to 3 inside line. So now let's see what they got. Perfect time to get an active trigger when there's nobody on board and it doesn't matter. So this is the Attack Titan deck. This is not the aggro deck. The Attack Titan deck is really scary. But they've had a slow enough start. And we have enough stuff to defend against that. It should be okay. Although if they get... Oh. Maybe not. I'm kind of confused. I'm forgetting. Is this guy... This guy is not in the Attack Titan deck, I don't think. Okay, this is the aggro deck. This is like some kind of a weird hybrid kind of thing. I don't think you run the basement in the aggro deck. Oh, and it has the Attack Titan. Okay, so it's like a hybrid-y. Choose up to one card in your opponent's front line and switch it to resting. Oh, okay, sorry, it's my turn now. So I'm going to choose him. Oh, he specialed me. Okay, a lot of people that don't know that 2 AP cost Yuki when she's sidelined, they don't know that she rests on opposing characters. So he sidelined me and I just rested him, so he can't attack me. So now how many? Now actually, I think I have the request. Nope, I still need one more. All right, we'll see. I can sideline him with my Yuki though, my 4 cost Yuki, which is good. Hopefully I draw into an Asuna, so I can replenish. We'll see. Okay, I did not get the Asuna. Now this is a little tricky. I'm not gonna lie. This is a little bit of a tricky situation. Do I spend the AP to draw here? I don't think I want to. So I think what we're gonna do. Usually, I almost never want to raid my Yuki if I don't have the Asuna in hand. But we got far enough ahead because of that slower start. We should be okay. So I will do it anyways. Not a big deal. Oh, we gotta go to main. We're gonna get a bunch of hits in here. So I think this game's probably gonna be over. Ooh, this is tricky. Do we want to drop a 2 AP cost Yuki, or do we want to save that? You know what? I think because we don't have the Asuna in hand, we're going to have it next turn. See, this is what I mean by this deck is so tricky. We're going to have to go ahead and dump this. Now we have the 3 inside line for the Mother's Rose. This is what I mean by this deck being so tricky. It's just, you have to really learn it. It took me a while. I used to think this deck wasn't very good. And then I actually learned it. I'm like, oh, this deck's really good. Now we can go ahead and kill this guy. And we didn't remove a body. We're going to wait till we have the Asuna to do that. So we can just swing in a bunch of free hits. Depending on what they get, this could kind of be it. They're going to be pretty far behind at this point. We have a lot of life to take. These are not very good triggers that he's getting. So he's going to need just something crazy. Oh, that is something I just thought of, is the removal isn't super great into this deck. So maybe saving that special for a stronger character would have been better. But the thing about Mother's Rosario, you really kind of need that Asuna in hand when you raid. You just don't want to be, raiding her. You're just trading removal for removal at that point. You want to be trading a removal for the free play, because when she's sidelined, you get the free play into an Asuna. And it can't be a 4 cost, it's 3 cost or less. So that next turn Asuna is going to be super helpful. And we also are going to have potentially enough soon, depending what happens. We might have enough to get some damage 2 into with our Asuna. But this is getting a little tricky. If he starts playing these really strong characters with 5,000 BP, that is admittedly going to be tougher to deal with. So we just gotta hope we're far enough ahead at this point. This is sort of the name of the game into Red Attack Titan anyways, or any deck like Red Attack Titan. You just want to get ahead fast enough, which we're doing excellently. And honestly, with 7 life, taking some life right now could really help us. So he's got the damage 2. Is this the one that switches to active? No, this is the sidelining one. Okay, so he's gonna get a free sideline. That's much better than the one that switches to active, though. The one that switches to active is gnarly. I think he does have that in hand. Man, this looks really good. This gold border, 6 cost gold border attack titan. Oh, and he got the special. What? So he's just looking to get rid of our board. I mean, I'm taking the hits anyways. I don't care. So go ahead and get rid of my board. I want some life. Oh, and this is perfect for us because he's only at 4,000 BP. So we can just remove him. Yeah. Perfect. We need more cards in our hands. So that's fantastic. Definitely taking that. I don't know why he didn't remove us. That's weird. I guess maybe, oh, I think he needs like a certain lower life to use that, actually. Activate, and we can perform raid. I don't know if I want to perform raid though. I mean, I guess it's a free play, so why not? Let's go ahead and do it. Let's just stay on the energy line for now. See what we get. Now we're looking really pretty. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're not at damage 2 yet. I've got another Asuna. Really? Wow. Interesting. So in this scenario, we're probably going to want the AP draw. And we got the Asuna. That's fantastic for this scenario because we're going to want to free play that for sure. Now we can play. We have. Oh, I'll show you what I mean. Let's go and push this up. We get another attacker. There's a couple different options here, but I think that we want to just leave it at that for now. Go to main. Now we can go ahead and play the Asuna. And then we can raid the Yuki, perform raid, move to front line, get rid of that pesky attack titan. It's so scary. And I'm going to show you the way this attack pattern works. It's a different kind of attack pattern than you normally do. We're definitely going to attack with that, see what he's got. Hopefully nothing good, hopefully nothing good. Oh, and it's a special. Hopefully, I think he's going to special the Yuki though. Yeah, so he specialed the Yuki, he should have done that. That's the attack pattern. You save her for last. Now I just get a free play. She was going to die anyway, so this is not a big deal. She just died. So we basically just got her replaced. Not a big deal. Now we're going to get one more attack through. And we have an Asuna who now has impact on the bench. Or on the energy line. Man, this guy's getting a lot of broken triggers late in the game here. Another removal. Specials, removal, color triggers that actually matter. killed my Asuna. I was gonna raid over her. That sucks. But I should have put her in the back line. That was my bad. Should have thought about that. I should have put her in the back line. I thought my back line was full. So that's an error right there. So I can make errors, just in case you didn't know. I should have put her in the back line because I did need her to raid over. This might get a little awkward now, but I needed her to raid over, and with given that this is a red deck, I should have thought, oh yeah, I could hit a red color trigger. I often forget about the red color trigger. I think a lot of people do. He's got 6 cards in hands. Honestly, this could be a pretty cracked turn. He's got a lot of opportunity here to do some crazy stuff. I don't think he can cross the 4-life threshold, and he has to really not leave himself open at all. And I have to basically get really, really bad life triggers. But losing that Austin on the front line, that did hurt a lot more than you might think. So we're going to see. If I hadn't lost that was on the back line, this game would pretty much be over right now. So that could be, I don't personally think it's going to be a crazy game-changing error, but he's also used a ton of finals. 1, 2, 3 finals. So that's probably not a final in life. And he just hard played an Eren Yeager. And he's got a special. Probably special. He's probably checking out to see if my Asuna does anything for when it's sidelined. It's like that last time kind of screwed him over. He's probably going to kill my Asuna. That's what he should do. But now he doesn't have anything. Let's see if he's got. Yeah, he's got nothing. He's got nothing to stop. He's got nothing to stop my Asuna impact. So let's go ahead and draw the AP. And we're just going to go for the impact here, I think. I mean, we could be cheeky and just go. I mean, we get 2 hits in. You know what? Let's just go for the whole thing. Might as well. Move that up. Move this up. Go to main. Draw and discard. Yeah, this does not usually happen that you get a bunch of useless Asunas in hand. Oh, this is an interesting situation. Let's go ahead and do it. We can actually activate this, sideline this, free play this to the front line. We get another 4,000 attacker. All right, let's see what happens. And it's not a final. GG's UNC. All right, and that's it. That's all I'm going to show you guys tonight. So hopefully you enjoyed that. It gives you a hands-on experience of the new red Inuyasha deck, one of my favorite decks I'm playing right now, which is Mother's Rosario. And if you like that, check out the website josephryderanderson.com. Check out the deck builder. Check out its latest features and functionalities and all that good stuff. And until next time, keep on battling.